What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be taking you through a god roll guide for the Psychopomp. This is the Arc Breach grenade launcher that is a aerial denial frame arc, first of its kind in this slot, if you will. With the arc burn, we got ourselves a void one, we got ourselves a stasis one, so they are expanding and I truly love it. But this is one of our Nether weapons, so we got 2 origin traits on this bad boy, if you can get that already, like pre-masterworked one, however you want to say it. But we got Willing Vessel as our first one. Dealing damage or defeating targets with this weapon gradually grants increased stability, handling, reload, and charge rate. This effect gradually decreases over time, but it gains more quickly when we are near allies, so pretty decent, especially for something inside of the Crucible, but that reload speed is nice for the PvE side of it. Second one is Runneth Over, which is actually from our King's Fall weapons and that raid. They also have this origin trait on them, so reloading your allies overflows the magazine. Not too shabby. We can get an extra shot in this bad boy for that aerial denial. This is what I would consider the god roll for PvE. First off, we got ourselves the Smart Drift Control. Gives us a bunch of different stats. I put on a reload masterwork with this bad boy, so when we have all the stats on this thing, we're gonna have a 90 in reload, 90 in handling, 90 in velocity, and that 100 blast radius. So I do really like this thing as an aerial denial. Second column, you definitely want to be using high velocity rounds. Gives you reload as well as velocity. The other one is negative for blast radius, so you want this high velocity as your number one. 2 different options inside of the third column for you. First one is Eddy Current here, and then the second one is Ambitious Assassin. So Eddy Current temporarily increases reload speed and handling after sprinting or while amplified. This effect is improved while we are amplificationed, so it is super nice with that reload speed. We're getting that up to 100 on that bad boy, and we're basically always amplified. If you're using an arc build or even inside a prismatic, you can get that to go pretty well. And then Ambitious Assassin, I am all over the place today, overflows the magazine based on the number of rapid kills before reloading. So Ambitious, we can get 2 shots in there, which is pretty nice. Again, for that aerial denial, we can really do a good amount of add clear, plus throwing it on a boss, very good for some little extra damage. In the fourth column, we got a new perk called Elemental Honing, which is our first option. Dealing that unique elemental damage grants this weapon stacking damage bonus. Pretty nice for this bad boy. Second option is the good old Rolling Storm right here, also a new perk. We got ourselves Final Blows grant us bolt charges, with bolt charges actually being pretty disgusting and doing a lot of damage this episode so far. And last but not least, we got Demolitionist, what I think might be my personal favorite, but bolt charge is really nice with that Rolling Storm. But of course, we got that demo. If you get defeats, you're gonna recharge your grenade. When you throw your grenade, you're gonna be able to reload this weapon, so you can have a pretty good combination on this bad boy. If you have something like Demolitionist with that Envious Assassin, or Ambitious Assassin, I should say, when you get those defeats, you're gonna overflow. You're gonna be able to use it, get more defeats, throw your grenade, get 2 in the barrel again, and just kind of repeat that if there are a lot of enemies. So I think overall for me, I might go Ambitious Assassin as definitely my number one in the third column, with probably a toss-up between either Demolitionist and Rolling Storm as my 2, just because Rolling Storm, like I said, bolt charges is pretty disgusting in this episode, and I think in general as an arc verb gonna be super good. And then Demolitionist is just in general one of the best PvE perks that we can get. So overall, this thing, very good options, very good origin traits. I think I would probably throw this around a 4.6, maybe even a 4.7, because of the synergy that you can get with the arc subclass, and especially those bolt charges, like I said, are disgusting. Now, when we move on to PvP, this aerial denial frame, just like any other Wither Horde, is definitely still the GOAT, but with our lost signal and our good velocity from the good old dungeon that we got, but we can do some pretty gnarly things inside of control, if you will, just by throwing it out there, throwing it in rooms. Not too shabby in my opinion, but we got ourselves quick launch as our barrel with 10 velocity, 10 in handling. I went with a handling masterwork as well, because inside of this bad boy we are gonna have 100 on handling, 95 in velocity, as well as 100 in blast radius. Second column, again, we're gonna go with high velocity rounds, plus 10 to velocity, plus 10 to reload. Pretty good in my personal opinion. There really isn't too many perks inside of the third and fourth column, so I'm gonna throw them together for you. The third column, I would definitely throw threat detector on, just because I don't really know what else you could do. Maybe pugilist, so you can get some melee energy back, but threat detector, you get a bunch of different things going on, which doesn't really matter in my opinion, but we can make it work in the Crucible. For the fourth column, I think your choices would probably be something like Harmony or Frenzy are your two options. Harmony is those final blows with other weapons, gives this damage and performance for a short time. Frenzy is being in combat for an extended period of duration. You're going to get some damage handling reloads, so we can use all of that really in the Crucible. Would probably go with Frenzy with that threat detector, I guess, as my number one choice. Maybe you could go with Ambitious. Like I said, the third column is kind of weird for me. Fourth column, Frenzy for sure, I think would probably be my number one, just so you can get some extra little bit of damage by being in combat. Very easy to get that to proc inside of the Crucible, but overall for the PvP side of things, this thing just falls right in line with all of our other aerial denial frames. In my personal opinion, I like those better than like a normal one that you would have to bounce it off walls, stuff like that. Wave frames, not that bad either in my personal opinion. I like the aerial denials the most inside of the Crucible, just because you can throw them on points, throw them in little areas to make enemies run different directions. They can kind of control the narrative of a map, if you will, so I would throw it at not too bad, but not too good. Probably like a 3.5, 3.6 out of 5 for the PvP realm, just because we do have some good options, and it just sits there on a point in a hallway, like I said, controlling the map for PvP. So do really like it, but other options in general, especially in this meta, shotguns, stuff like that, definitely better. But y'all should get to grinding out the Nether. Obviously we got our expert version where you can get the adept versions, everything like that. I would definitely suggest doing it. All of the weapons from the Nether are pretty sick. The god rolls are pretty good, and we have some pretty solid synergy just this season in general with these and the Nether and all of that. So I appreciate all you guys again for coming back to the channel. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to the channel. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you have not. Helps me out, helps the channel out a bunch, and just in general, you guys will get those notifications and stuff like that. So love you. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.